I'm Amy, a 48-year-old housewife. I've been with my husband, Harold, since college, and we got married when we were in our third year of working. Soon after, I gave birth to our eldest daughter, Samantha, followed by our son, Kevin, 2 years later. There were tough times, dealing with Samantha's friend issues and taking care of Kevin, who was rather weak. But now, those days are good memories. Both of my children have grown up and are enjoying their college lives, living independently. Our marital life has surpassed 20 years. Harold, who tends to dominate the household, is diligent at work, but left all housework and childcare to me. Yet, as my friends had similar complaints, I never gave it much thought and accepted that this is just how husbands are. The passion might have burned out long ago, but there is still affection as a long-married couple. Our physical affection and conversations have decreased, but that's how it is for most mature couples, isn't it? There are no big complaints, but there is no excitement either. I do the housework, work part-time, and take care of Harold. Such days will continue until one of us passes away, I thought. I believed that's what Harold wanted too. But Harold betrayed me. One weekend, Harold brought a young woman home out of the blue. She seemed to be Harold's subordinate, introduced as Nancy. She's around 26, about the same age as our daughter. While holding her shoulder, Harold dropped the bomb. "I'm marrying her, so let's get a divorce." What? It was like a bolt from the blue. Kevin is already 20, so our roles as parents are over. I want to spend the rest of my life with someone I truly love. Hold on a second, I can't digest this situation. Facing my confused self, Harold's subordinate sneered. "I'm going to marry my honey, Harold, so you need to leave." Honey, what? Ignoring my fainting self, the two of them started to passionately explain how much they loved each other and should be together. Love is a wonderful thing, and such. If this were someone else's story, I could probably nod in agreement. She's my junior at work and has always been there to heal my worn-out body and mind from the stresses of work and family life. Harold said without any hesitation. My honey always covers up my mistakes and treats me to delicious food. Look, he even bought me this bag. Have you ever received a present like this? The item that Harold's mistress started flaunting was from a high-end store that even I, who am not keen on brands, knew. Of course, I've never received such a gift. In fact, he hasn't even celebrated my birthday for the past few years. You're clearly after his money. I couldn't help but cynically deny their so-called pure love. Men's charm includes their wealth, right? You're being dumped because you don't get that. I get it. I've known it all along. I'm not one to claim that I don't need money. I'm grateful to Harold for working hard every day. Enough. Harold sighed, looking annoyed. If I'm spending the same money, I'd rather have a young, cute girl who knows how to boost a man's ego. You're past your expiration date. What? You're done, woman. Just get a divorce and get out of here. The woman sneered down at me as she clung to my husband. Everything I believed in crumbled at once. I could say neither yes nor no, all I could do was look at them with despair in my eyes. It was a hellish week that followed. My husband would brazenly go over to her place and barely came home anymore. Meanwhile, that woman would barge into our house almost every day, berating me. Are you still here? Get a divorce already. It's so pathetic how you cling even though you're not loved. You're disgraceful, old woman. Why do I have to take this abuse from my husband's mistress? What did I do to deserve this? Is it a crime to be an older woman? Although I felt humiliated, I had always planned to stay by my husband's side till the end, so it took me a while to accept the reality. I was also paralyzed by the thought of how becoming a single parent might impact our children's future. But it was our children who finally gave me the push I needed. Mom! Why didn't you tell us about this sooner? One weekend, my daughter and son, who were both living on their own, unexpectedly came home. Even though I hadn't told them anything, they seemed to know what was happening. Samantha, Kevin, how did you? Dad reached out. He said, "Your mom is jealous of this younger woman and is hesitating to get a divorce. Kevin, you understand how I feel, right?" Kevin spat out our father's selfish justification with a look of disgust on his face. That's awful. How dare he involve our son? Gross, she's 26, right? That's about my age. That's so low. Samantha grimaced, clearly deeply scornful. Then she patted my shoulder with determination. Mom, just get a divorce. But what if becoming a single parent affects your job prospects or chances of getting married? I wouldn't want anyone who'd judge me based on something like that in my life anyway. Samantha stuck out her tongue in jest. Kevin, unusually serious, looked into my face. Listen, Mom. Why don't you start thinking about your future, instead of us? Would you really have any problems if you divorced Dad? Problems? I'd only have to take care of myself around the house. If my husband could just cover our children's tuition, I could live off my part-time job and the rent income from the apartment I inherited from my father. If I don't have to look after my husband, I can work more hours at my part-time job. I could even take up hobbies if my husband wasn't around, right? No one would complain if I went out for lunch with my friends on weekends. There wouldn't be anyone to make snide remarks when I cheered for idols on TV, saying it's embarrassing to fawn over young guys. In the first place, the one who's into younger women is him, not me. Getting divorced means getting freed from all these hassles. That sounds absolutely fantastic. I wouldn't have any problems if I got divorced. The moment I said it out loud, it felt as if the world in front of me brightened. Exactly. If anything, the one who's going to have problems by marrying a selfish man like Dad is his mistress. Right. Samantha emphatically agreed with me. Mom, we appreciate how much you care for us. But we'd be happier to see you smiling. Knowing you're well makes us feel like we can do anything. Both Samantha and Kevin were a strong cheering squad for me. You're only 48, it's like you're at the halfway point of your life. It'd be a waste to dedicate the rest of your life to a jerk like Dad. We'll do our best to become independent. So, Mom, live your life for yourself. Samantha, Kevin. I couldn't hold back my tears anymore. Thank you. I'm truly glad you're my children. That's because you raised us with so much love, Mom. The heart of me, worn out by betrayal from my husband whom I had believed in, was gently comforted by my children. My life is not wrong. It hasn't been up to now, and it won't be from here on out. I won't hesitate anymore. I will live the rest of my life for myself. Once my feelings for my husband were completely severed, my actions were swift. Divorcing while the relationship is ongoing. There is also a risk that the relationship between the two of them could end before our divorce is finalized, which could complicate the divorce negotiations. I hired a lawyer who is strong in divorce cases and prepared to leave the house. With all preparations in place, I expressed my intention to divorce to my husband and set up a discussion. We settled everything from college costs for the kids, property division. Honestly, I wanted to leave him penniless, but a smooth divorce was the top priority. Besides, it was clear that the two unfaithful individuals would fall apart. If I stirred up unnecessary trouble and prolonged the chance for divorce, it would be like stirring a hornet's nest. My husband paid me off in one lump sum as if he was disposing of an expired woman, as if he was paying for the disposal of bulky trash. The woman he was seeing was initially reluctant about her assets diminishing, but for some reason, she revised her opinion and saw my husband as a generous man. I almost burst out laughing at their charade, but I held it in. Just a little more patience. A man with nothing but pride, and a woman with nothing but money in her eyes. You have no idea how much trouble you're going to have, you sir and ma'am. Even though I thought it was unnecessary, I confirmed with the woman. Are you sure about him? What? Are you being a sore loser? Hurry up and get divorced, lady. All right. I felt sorry for the young girl being deceived by the old man, but it seems I can happily hand over this joker without any hesitation. The sky was clear without a single cloud. I wonder if those two are looking at the same view. And so, I began my new life. After the divorce, I moved to an apartment where I am the owner. Of course, I don't have to pay any rent. It's in my hometown, so there are plenty of my classmates around and I never run out of people to talk to. The location is also convenient, so my daughter and son come to visit on weekends. I was nothing but grateful to my parents for leaving me such a place. The only thing that worried me was quitting my longtime part-time job, but luckily it was a major chain store. The store manager did some groundwork for me at a store near my new home, and I was able to get hired under the same conditions. It was worth working hard and sincerely for so long. Feeling a bit lonely from making too much food and such was only for the first month. Now I'm enjoying the pleasures of living alone and cooking just for myself every day. About half a year into this lifestyle, I received a call from an unknown number. When I carelessly picked up, the woman let out a shrill scream without even introducing herself.
Hey, lady! All the people at the company and his relatives are saying they won't attend our wedding. It's your sabotage, isn't it?
Her offensive way of talking, unforgettable even if I wanted to. The woman my ex-husband cheated with. Blaming others for what she sowed herself is too much of a bother. Stop the false accusations. I just told the truth that my husband is going to be with a younger and cute girl from his workplace, so I'm getting a divorce. You said the same thing, didn't you? All I did was tell it as it is and bid farewell to the people who were kind to me.
But it's strange that everyone is absent.
His family and coworkers are all decent people. They wouldn't accept insincere people like you too.
We just sought true love.
Yeah. Why don't you explain what that true love is to everyone? Well, I guess the people around my ex-husband are all sensible, so their rejection towards the two adulterers must be strong. But it's proof that the marital relationship I had worked hard to build over 20 years was good, and it felt rewarding. The woman made a big fuss, but in the end, the wedding was postponed. It wasn't because of the cold reaction from their surroundings, but because she found out she was pregnant. When that child was born, she had the audacity to get in touch, demanding that my kids and I send a gift to celebrate the birth. As for my ex-husband, he told our children something along the lines of, "Be nice to your new sibling." Of course, there's no way we'd accept this situation, but our daughters, who are more than 20 years older than their new half-brother, had mixed feelings about it. I wasn't happy about it either, but it's not the child's fault for being born. So I took her calls and dealt with her like an adult, but all she did was complain that
my honey's relatives won't give me a baby shower gift.
Why don't you realize that they are distancing themselves from you? I asked.
No way! If you see me, you'll understand that the new wife is amazing. I guess we have to hold a wedding ceremony after all.
She responded. Wait, you still want to have a wedding ceremony? She never learns.
What? Of course! I promised with him. I want to wear a white bridal dress at the wedding ceremony, go to Hawaii for our honeymoon, and take pictures in a wedding dress against the blue sea. Are you jealous?
What an airhead. That sounds like a lovely dream. But do you understand how much money this is all going to cost? Huh? It costs about 20 million yen to raise a child to adulthood.
What?
She exclaimed. She seemed a bit flustered, but quickly tried to save face by saying,
But my husband earns a lot, so it'll be fine.
That may be true now, but your husband is going to be 60 in just over 10 years, before your child even gets to junior high school. I wonder if an old man can continue to work as he is now and earn the same amount of money. Guess we'll see, huh?
Oh.
Did something I said resonate with her? To begin with, your husband's salary might be higher than that of your friend's husband's, but if you consider his age, it's actually quite average. In fact, he's probably already earned most of his lifetime income.
Oh.
She sighed. I could tell from her voice over the phone that she was at a loss for words. She must have had this child without giving it much thought. I figured as much, but it's still incredibly foolish. His blood pressure is high, so his health is a concern. What? Oh, you didn't know? Have you been looking at his medical checkup results? He's been flagged every year. She was left speechless. My ex-husband hates going to the hospital, so it was always a struggle for me to get him to go for a re-examination. Now that his nagging ex-wife is gone, he's probably ignoring his health checkups and eating and drinking whatever he wants. To add insult to injury, I reminded her of more harsh realities. I wonder if he can continue to work energetically as he ages? But don't worry, you're young and can still work for another 30 years or more. By the way, are you currently on maternity leave? Well, knowing that she wouldn't be able to return to work after her maternity leave, I couldn't resist asking. Their affair and subsequent marriage had become known to upper management at their company, and they were both disciplined for violating compliance, ruining any chance she had of returning to work after maternity leave. A friend of mine who works with my ex-husband gave me the full report. If only she had noticed the cold stares directed at her, and the fact that no one wanted to attend their wedding, she might have been saved. But at last, it seems she has come to realize the naivety of her perceptions.
Good luck. He can't do any housework or child rearing, but if you have true love, you'll be able to overcome it, right? I admire you.
Well,
I'm going to have lunch with my friends now. Enjoy your life of childcare, housework, and taking care of your husband.
I didn't wait for her to respond and hung up the phone. She must have been stunned by the harsh reality of her much older, married love affair, which she entered into blindly. I would have loved to see the look on her face and laugh at her, but I'll refrain. Rather than disparaging a person I despise, I find it more worthwhile to spend time with my beloved friends. Fast forward another year. Hey, you're Amy, right? Just as I was about to leave my apartment, a man called out to me. It was my ex-husband. This was the first time I had seen him since our divorce. He seemed to be trying to reach out to our children in various ways, telling them to care for their new baby brother, or suggesting we all try to get along as a family. Although I had not told him where I lived after the divorce, he must have surmised that I inherited my parents' apartment. Long time no see. He greeted me. A smirk playing on his lips. I racked my brain trying to remember if he always had such a creepy smile. I wonder if I had even seen him smile in the last few years. I thought seeing him again might stir up a whirlpool of emotions, but surprisingly, I was able to handle the situation quite calmly. What brings you here? I asked. You're so cold. Weren't we married for 20 years? He was the one who made a mess of that relationship, not me. Ignoring my glaring face, my ex-husband rambled on about the issues in his new marriage. In a nutshell, he complained that his new wife was too demanding, always nagging him to stop wasting money, take care of the kids, wash dishes, do the laundry, and so forth. Save money, she would nag him. If you're a father, play with your kid. Change the diapers. To my ex-husband, these requests seemed completely unreasonable, but most people would consider them perfectly reasonable expectations in a marriage. His new wife had finally come to realize the truth. This man, unhealthy, lazy, refusing to do housework or childcare, will be nothing but a burden once he gets older. I bet he's shocked to find that in this day and age, when it's the norm for fathers to help with housework and childcare, the husbands of my friends are actively doing housework. The problem lies with the man in front of me, who still can't comprehend his situation even after 2 years. You know, they say women change after marriage, and it's scary. But you never told me to do housework or do childcare, did you? That's right. Times have changed since then, and I believed it was normal. That's when I realized it. The one who truly loved me was you. Excuse me? I was taken aback by my ex-husband's sudden comment. Whatever misunderstanding that dope had, he began to talk while scratching his nose and grinning sheepishly. You must be lonely at your age, being single. You've been making yourself more beautiful than when we were married, perhaps waiting for me to come back. I know you're getting old, but you were great for following me without saying anything. I'm ready to let bygones be bygones. You should be honest too. What? You still love me, don't you? What? I let out a strange scream and nearly fell over. Eek! At my scream, my ex-husband's body jolted and froze. I thought my resentment and anger toward my ex-husband had subsided during my enjoyable days after divorce, but his stupidity had rekindled my anger. What nonsense are you talking about in broad daylight? What's in it for me to get back with a man who has no redeeming qualities? Hey. My ex-husband was at a loss for words. If I've become more beautiful, it's probably because I've gotten rid of the stress since parting ways with you. That is. I'm grateful to your mistress, you know. Because after parting with you, I'm having so much fun. I'm really glad I didn't end up spending my life changing your adult diapers. No way. Seeing my strong defiance for the first time, my ex-husband's face turned pale. You know, I didn't speak my mind when I was served divorce papers, and I didn't complain even after the breakup, just going through the procedures calmly. Could you please step aside? I have a date. A date? My ex-husband's voice squeaked like in a cartoon. You, a woman like you? That's right. You must be being conned. Get your head straight. I don't mind. If I'm going to spend the same money, I'd rather do it with a young and handsome guy. You're way past your expiration date. What? I'm returning your own words to you. Ugh. One more thing, you're a piece of non-recyclable bulky trash. Even though his mouth was moving like a fish out of water, he couldn't seem to utter another word. I have to go now, he's waiting for me. Let's forget about each other and move on. Goodbye.
Amy.
He called my name desperately, but I didn't turn around and just walked away briskly. With the way he's going, it won't be long before he's on his second divorce. Someone once said that the greatest revenge is to be happy, and I really believe that. After all, it seems like he was incredibly shocked by the sight of me walking away confidently.
Mom.
When I arrive at our meeting spot, Nancy, my daughter, comes toward me, waving her hand energetically. She's my date today.
Sorry I'm late. Your father came over unexpectedly.
Oh, was everything okay?
All good. I managed to say what I had been holding back for a while. But now, it's all about the concert. I've been looking forward to this day, working extra shifts at my part-time job just for it.
She giggles. Oh Mom, shall we go then?
Yes.
Yes, today is the concert of a male singer I've always adored. It's actually my second time attending. I've even learned to secure tickets myself, without relying on Nancy. I've picked up other hobbies, but my greatest joy right now is following this singer. If he's in a musical, I'll make a date with my friends to go see it. When he releases a new song, I play it on repeat in my car. Even my son, Kevin, sends me updates about his music shows over text. It's not just the joy of following my passion, but also the fact that everyone supports my interest that makes me happy. They may chuckle and say, "Isn't she too old for this?" But I don't mind. I'm not inconveniencing anyone after all. This is my life after all. Living for myself, I had completely forgotten how much fun it could be. Cooking for my family, planning outings to entertain the kids, and making a cozy home for my husband were fulfilling in their own way. Because I found my worth in these things, I was scared that I'd lose all my value and past if I were to get divorced. But that fear didn't materialize. My kids continue to value me. My job and the relationships I've built are still thriving. It turns out there's joy in letting go of the past and wholeheartedly embracing a new life. Stepping into an unknown world requires courage, but once you take the plunge, it's filled with thrilling new encounters. I've decided to thoroughly enjoy my life from now on.